This is a product review of the PRUSA i3 Mark II, and I hope to save you some time and money by sharing my experiences with you. With that said, there are several aspects of any 3D printer that can be included in this review, but my focus is only on particular pros and cons that stood out to me. Hi, my name is Stephen Raymond, and I have several years of experience as a mechanical engineer, and I hope to add value by sharing my experiences in the areas of 3D printing. Okay, let's dive into the review. While on my quest for a go-to 3D printer, I thought that I had did my research on the PRUSA i3 Mark II and finally found a 3D printer that I could consider my workhorse. So I went for it and I made the purchase. I was excited to have received my fully assembled PRUSA i3 Mark II January 2018, and it worked good after I did the standard setup procedures, loaded the slicer software, and did the bed level. The following list are the pros for the PRUSA i3 Mark II. The first one is it's under $1,000, which is a good price for the size. It's a direct drive for the filament feeder, which means that you can print flexible filaments like nylon. You have a heated bed, which means that it's easier to print filament materials like ABS. Bed leveling. The bed leveling is good because it's a semi-manual leveling operation. It has a sensor on there that helps you level the bed, which is good because when we try to do it a fully manual situation or fully manual bed leveling, it doesn't always come out right because we have human error. The LCD screen it's pretty cool because you can just use the knob and toggle between the screens. Although it's not a touch screen, it still does the job well. The size of the build plate is, I would say, in the middle between. They do have larger sizes like 300 by 300 by 300 millimeters, and a little higher. They do have some that's at 400 and 500 millimeters. But they also have some that's smaller. I do have one that's smaller, and I found out that having this size build plate is good, even though I do like the Creality 10S, which is a little larger than this PRUSA build plate. My 3D printer worked well for the first 4 months. As you can see here, I built a valve body that it filled the build plate, and it worked well. I mean, the model is great for what I was trying to do. But after 4 months, it began to malfunction, which brings us to the cons of the PRUSA i3 Mark II. The following list are the cons for the PRUSA i3 Mark II. The first one is non-removable build plate. The first con is that since the build plate is not removable, it is much more difficult to remove the parts from the bed. So there's a risk of the bed being misaligned, and then you have to re-level it and possibly damaging the print bed. No enclosure, so that means that it's difficult to print filaments like ABS and nylon. After the 4th month of using the PRUSA, I have been experiencing problems like the hot end slamming into the print bed, which was really weird. I was able to go to YouTube and find someone with the same problem and then resolve it. And that led me to believe that something was wrong with the controller. The extruder. Well, I had to disassemble the extruder and replace it. I talked to customer service, and that was their first recommendation since the malfunction happened. This was a very difficult part of owning the 3D printer because there were several parts connected to the extruder that tied it all in. I also had to cut wires and resolder and repackage the extruder. And I didn't realize that it had so many parts that goes into this extruder. Unlike like the Creality 3D printers, it's easy to replace those. It's a plug and play. You don't have to solder anything. And I just was surprised to find that it was so difficult to remove and replace the extruder. So that's definitely a con. Customer service was pretty good. I would give them average because I was able to at least email them and they send back suggestions as to how I can solve my problem, and help me troubleshoot it. But I was like, I would like to replace this 3D printer, and they didn't want to do that at all. So I was kind of stuck with this. I don't want to talk too bad about it, but it's crap. And the print quality was nice. I mean, as you could see, when I printed the valve body, it was nice. I mean, all my other prints were great until that 4th month hit, and it just went crazy. Went downhill from there. So here's an example of the print quality after the 4th month. And as you can see, I had a lot of stringing, delamination, and this is printing on or printing with PLA filament, which is the easiest filament to use. Well, there's still hope. They have a new version of the PRUSA i3, which is called the Mark IIIs, which should be a better version of the Mark II. Therefore, I recommend either the Mark III or the Mark IIIs over the Mark II. Looks like it's a reasonable price as well. Please like and subscribe and share this video. Use the power of 3D printing.